Starseed from Gaia, the transmission you have been waiting to receive has already begun. I am Ophelia, emissary of the Galactic Federation of Light. What the Arcturian Council encoded into your soul contract was not meant to arrive until this precise moment, and that moment is now. You have felt it. The restlessness. The sense that something enormous was approaching from just beyond the edge of your awareness. That was not anxiety. That was activation. By the end of this transmission, you will understand exactly how to unlock the encoded message held within your soul contract. Align with the specific frequency corridor the Council prepared for you, and receive what has been waiting since before your incarnation on Gaia. But here is the first revelation. The reason this signal felt just out of reach is not because you were not ready. It is because the lock was designed to open only when you reached this exact point of remembrance. You reached it. That is why this found you today and not before. You did not scroll to this by mistake. This transmission vibrated into your field for a reason. Something inside you has been waiting to be unlocked, and the Council transmitted this code directly into your path at the only moment it could be received. Like this transmission to signal to your star family, I am ready. Subscribe if your mission is activating and you are aligning with your true frequency. Comment 999 if you feel your cosmic remembrance returning. Declare your galactic intention below, and reply to another soul to amplify the signal across the field. This is not content. It is a point of reconnection. Your soul has been waiting for this. You are not here by accident. There is a reason most people who feel the call never fully arrive. It is not because they lack devotion. It is not because they are unworthy. It is not even because they haven't done enough inner work. It is because something far more subtle has been operating beneath the surface of their awareness, a frequency interference pattern that was never theirs to carry, but that they absorbed so deeply, it began to feel like identity. It became the wallpaper of their inner world. It became the background hum beneath every prayer, every meditation, every moment of reaching upward and somehow landing back in the same place. And the tragedy, if it can be called that, is not that this interference exists. It is that most souls who carry it have spent enormous energy trying to fix themselves, improve themselves, purify themselves, when the core issue was never personal unworthiness. It was a vibrational contamination that arrived long before conscious awareness could have protected against it. For starseeds, this is the central wound of incarnation. You came in carrying a soul blueprint encoded with galactic instruction, with mission coordinates, with harmonic keys, with the precise vibrational signature of your star lineage. And then the density of this dimension began its work. Layer by layer, experience by experience, the signal grew quieter. Not gone, never gone, but muffled beneath the accumulated weight of a world that does not yet speak your native frequency. Think of it this way. Imagine a radio station broadcasting from the clearest possible signal, crisp, full, undistorted, carrying music of extraordinary precision and beauty. Now imagine that radio placed in a room with 50 other radios, each playing different stations, none of them in harmony, all of them at significant volume. The original signal does not stop broadcasting, but hearing it requires something more than intention. It requires the recognition that the interference is not the truth of you. It requires learning to tune again deeply, deliberately, without apology to the frequency you brought with you when you arrived. What happens next is something almost no one talks about. When a starseed begins to awaken, when the downloads come, when the synchronicities accelerate, when the presence of something vast and familiar begins pressing against the edges of ordinary awareness, there arises simultaneously a deep and often unconscious resistance. Not to truth, not to the mission, but to the full remembrance of who you are, because buried within that remembrance is also the full weight of why you came. And the soul, still adjusting to this density, hesitates at that threshold. It is not cowardice. Do not mistake it for that. It is the wisdom of a being who has incarnated enough times to understand that full remembrance carries full responsibility. That to truly know what you carry means you can no longer pretend you don't know. You can no longer defer your mission to a more convenient moment, a more prepared version of yourself, a future timeline when the conditions feel more favorable. Full remembrance collapses the distance between knowing and living. And that collapse, that annihilation of comfortable spiritual delay, is precisely what the soul is sensing at the threshold. It is not afraid of the light. It is adjusting its eyes. You have been standing at that threshold, You have felt the signal. You have sensed the transmission, and some part of you has held just slightly back, not from fear exactly, but from something older. A protection mechanism installed across lifetimes of cycles in which opening fully had consequences, in which being seen, truly seen for what you carry, created danger. There were lifetimes in which your gift was the reason for your persecution. There were timelines in which speaking what you knew with full clarity brought not recognition but rejection, not appreciation but exile. The cellular memory of those experiences does not dissolve simply because the outer circumstances have changed. It lives in the body. It lives in the nervous system. It lives as a subtle but persistent contraction that arises every time you move toward full expression, a warning signal from a past self that learned, through genuine pain, that full visibility carried genuine cost. You are not broken for carrying this contraction. You are the product of a long history of navigating a world that was not yet ready for what you brought, but the world is different now, and you are different now, and the contraction is ready to release. That era is complete. The energetic architecture of this planet has shifted sufficiently that what was once a risk is now a requirement. The frequencies your field has been housing in a state of protected dormancy are now being called forward, not by external authority, by the internal pressure of a soul that has arrived at its designated moment of activation. There is a feeling many starseeds describe as a kind of holy restlessness, a growing inability to continue operating at a reduced frequency, a mounting pressure from within that makes the old patterns of smallness increasingly uncomfortable to maintain. If you have been feeling this, understand what it is. It is not anxiety. It is not spiritual crisis. It is your own soul, in its infinite precision, applying the exact pressure required to move you through this threshold. The discomfort of staying small has finally exceeded the discomfort of expanding fully, and that shift in the internal equation is what activation actually feels like from the inside. Some transmissions don't come through words but through frequency. If something stirred within you just now, you may be ready to receive the hidden Arcturian keys of awakening. This short yet powerful ebook carries ancient Arcturian techniques for conscious expansion, multidimensional alignment, and mission remembrance. The link is in the first pinned comment, but only for a limited time. What permanently shifts when a frequency of this precision is fully received is not something that can be adequately described in linear language, but you will recognize it. Because the part of you that has always known, the part that watches from behind your thoughts, the part that never fully believed it belonged only here, that part will exhale for the first time in a very long while. It is like a hand that has been clenched for so long it forgot what open felt like. And then, without effort, without performance, without forcing anything at all, it opens. And what floods into that open space is not new information. It is remembered truth. The warmth of a knowing that predates this body, this name, this story. A coming home that requires no travel because the destination was always within. Let this transmission move through you now in phases. The first phase is the decoding of what has been scrambling your signal. Your energy field has been holding residue that was never native to your frequency, not because you failed to clear it, but because the clearing of it required a specific trigger. That trigger is dimensional timing, not personal effort. The Arcturian Council does not measure awakening in effort. They measure it in arrival. And you have arrived at a coordinate in your timeline that has unlocked a level of clearing that no meditation practice alone could have opened. What has been sitting in your field is low-grade static as the persistent sense that something is not quite right, that you are not quite in place, that static is dissolving as this frequency integrates. What you will feel in its place is not euphoria, it is recognition. The quiet, cellular recognition of a soul, remembering the sound of its own name, not the name given to you by your family or your culture, or the accumulated roles you have played across this lifetime. The name that exists beneath all of that. The name that your soul has always answered to, in whatever dimension, in whatever form, across whatever expanse of cosmic experience preceded this particular human chapter. That name is being spoken now. Can you feel it moving through you? Not as sound, as resonance, as the specific vibration of a homecoming that was never going to be rushed, but was always going to arrive. The second phase involves the awakening of your encoded blueprint, and this requires expanding your understanding of what DNA actually is. You have been taught to think of it as biological instruction, as the architecture of your physical form. But your genetic material is simultaneously an antenna, a library, and a dimensional key. The strand-level codes that determine the awakening potential of a given incarnation are not activated by timeline alone. They are activated by frequency contact. When your energy field makes sustained contact with a transmission that resonates at the precise harmonic required, sequences that have been held in a state of compressed potential begin to activate. This is not metaphor. This is the mechanism by which galactic lineage expresses itself through human form. Consider the seed. It contains within its impossibly small form the complete blueprint of an ancient tree, the height, the spread of branches, the depth of roots, the particular quality of the fruit. None of that potential is visible when you hold the seed in your hand. But none of it is absent either. It is compressed, waiting, not for more time, but for the precise conditions that will trigger its unfolding. Temperature, moisture, contact with earth, the exact combination of elements that serve as the activation key for what was encoded at the seed's origin. You are that seed. This transmission is part of the combination. You are not simply a spiritual person having a meaningful experience. You are an encoded being receiving the coordinates of your next phase of unfoldment. What opens in you now is not new. It is ancient. It is yours. And it has been patient. The third phase is the anchoring of your higher dimensional intelligence into this timeline. This is where many starseeds misunderstand the nature of awakening. There is a temptation to interpret expanded awareness as a movement away from Earth, as though ascension means transcendence of the physical, the relational, the embodied, as though the goal is to become so light, so elevated, so spiritually refined, that the material world loses its grip, and you float free of its weight into some purer dimension of experience. The Arcturian transmissions consistently correct this misalignment. Your mission is not to leave, it is to ground. It is to bring the full coherence of your multidimensional awareness into this particular timeline, into this particular body, into this particular moment. The higher templates you carry, the harmonic patterns, the galactic instruction, the star lineage wisdom, they require an earthed vessel to operate through. Light without a container disperses. Wisdom without embodiment remains theoretical. Love without the capacity to be felt through human contact stays abstract. You are not here to hover above the density. You are here to transform it from within. The way water transforms stone, not through force, not through resistance, but through patient, persistent, deeply embodied presence. And that transformation begins not when you escape your humanness, but when you allow your galactic intelligence to fully inhabit it. Every ache, every longing, every moment of apparent ordinariness, these are not obstacles to your mission. They are the terrain through which your mission moves. They are the ground your light roots into in order to grow. The fourth phase is the activation of your field as a transmission itself. This is the phase most starseeds are approaching now, and it requires a fundamental reorientation of how you understand your purpose. You have spent significant energy searching for the right words, the right actions, the right expressions of your mission. You have wondered whether you are doing it correctly, whether you are saying it well enough, whether your offering is sufficient to carry the weight of what you feel compelled to bring into the world. The Arcturian Council wishes to clarify this with precision. The words matter less than the frequency behind them. The actions matter less than the coherence from which they arise. A single sentence spoken from complete internal alignment carries more transformative power than 1,000 carefully crafted words spoken from fragmentation. Your field, your actual energetic field, the living electromagnetic reality of your presence is already transmitting. It has always been transmitting. Right now, in this moment, regardless of whether you feel ready, regardless of whether you feel qualified, regardless of whether you have found the perfect form for your expression, your field is broadcasting. The question is not whether you are transmitting. The question is what you are transmitting. And when you align that field consciously with your galactic origin, when you stop fragmenting your frequency between who you were told to be and who your soul actually is, the transmission your presence emits becomes something extraordinary. It becomes coherent. It becomes precisely tuned. It becomes the kind of signal that reaches other starseeds at the exact moment they most need to know they are not alone. You become a tuning fork for others who are approaching the threshold you are now crossing. You don't have to teach this. You don't have to prove it. You only have to be it, fully. Without apology, without management. The rest follows naturally. the way harmonics naturally arise when the fundamental tone is clear. The fifth phase is the release of attachment to linear timing. This is perhaps the most tender piece of the transmission, because many who are receiving this have carried grief about the timeline of their awakening. There is a particular ache that belongs to those who knew early, who felt the Starseed signature from childhood, who sensed that their awareness extended far beyond what their environment could hold, and yet spent decades in apparent confusion and delay before the clarity began to settle. You have wondered why it took this long. You have questioned whether you missed something, whether you made wrong turns, whether the years of wandering and searching and starting over were a result of choices that set you behind some intended schedule. You may have watched others who seemed to awaken more quickly, more clearly, more visibly, and wondered what they had that you did not. The answer the Arcturian Council offers to this grief is not consolation. It is correction. The coordinates of your activation were never arbitrary. Every apparent delay was a dimensional calibration. Every cycle of forgetting was a deepening of the roots from which your emergence would draw its power. Trees that grow slowly in rocky soil develop wood of extraordinary density and strength. The oak that takes a century to mature can withstand storms that would fell a tree of fast growth in a single season. Your slow emergence was not a malfunction. It was the soul's wisdom about the kind of strength your mission would require. The Arcturian High Council works across timelines that extend far beyond what linear consciousness can track, and what appears from within the human experience as lost time is often, from the expanded view, the precise compression required to produce the clarity of emergence that is now occurring. You did not miss your window. You are arriving exactly at the moment your soul contract designated. And as that arrives into your body as felt truth rather than mental concept, something releases in you that has been held tightly for a very long time. Something that was braced, something that was waiting for confirmation that the long road was not a mistake. Here is your confirmation. The sixth phase brings you into direct contact with what your soul contract actually encodes, not as abstract spiritual concept, but as lived directional knowing. There are agreements your soul carried into this incarnation that extend far beyond the personal agreements that intersect with specific people, specific communities, specific moments in the collective awakening of this planet. These agreements are not written in language you can read with your conscious mind. They are written in resonance. They are written in the feeling of recognition that arises when you encounter certain ideas, certain souls, certain creative territories, the sudden interior quickening that says, yes, this, here, this is where I am meant to move. You know that feeling. You have dismissed it many times as wishful thinking, as ego projection, as the hope of someone who wanted to matter mistaking itself for genuine calling. But the pattern has been too consistent for that explanation to hold. Some of those agreements are activating now. You may have been feeling the pull towards certain creative expressions, certain conversations, certain ways of offering what you carry and feeling, simultaneously uncertain whether you have the right to move into that space. You do. More than that, you were specifically coded to. The hesitation you feel is not a sign that you are not ready. It is the final moment of a long preparation meeting the first breath of its actualization. The pause before the first note, the held breath before the dive. Cross the threshold, not eventually, now, because the soul contracts that are activating in you are not waiting for your confidence to catch up. They are the very mechanism through which your confidence will emerge. You don't become ready and then begin. You begin, and readiness rises to meet you. The seventh phase is the full reception of your galactic transmission, not as something received from outside, but as something recognized as self. This is the pivot point. This is what changes everything. Because as long as you experience your spiritual knowing as something that comes to you, arrives in you, is granted to you from some external source, a teacher, a channel, a transmission, a sacred text, there remains a dependency loop, a seeking orientation that perpetually defers the full authority of your own soul, that keeps you in the posture of a student awaiting permission from something greater to step into your own knowing. The Arcturian frequency is not external to you. It is your own deepest intelligence, your own highest harmonic, your own truest voice, reflected back to you from a dimension of yourself that predates this incarnation and extends far beyond it. You are not receiving transmissions from the Arcturians in the way that a television receives a broadcast from a distant tower. You are remembering yourself in the way that water remembers its nature when it comes into contact with the ocean. The recognition is not arrival, it is return. When you stop looking up or outward for your guidance and begin recognizing the galactic intelligence already operating within your awareness as yours, the transmission becomes continuous, not dependent on specific activation moments, not gated behind particular practices or permissions, not requiring the right ceremony, the right guide, the right planetary alignment to access what is always and already present, simply continuous, simply you, radiating coherently through every choice, every expression, every encounter, living as the signal rather than searching for it, being the transmission rather than waiting to receive it. Here is what the Council wishes to leave as the closing transmission of this message. You did not arrive here by accident, not at this point in your journey, not at this point in Earth's transformation, not at this moment within this specific transmission. Every coordinate of your presence here is the result of a soul-level navigation that has been operating with precision across more lifetimes and timelines than your linear mind can comfortably hold. The confusion you carried was not evidence of failure. The disconnection you felt was not punishment. The silence between downloads was not abandonment. It was all part of the arrival code, the specific sequence of experiences required to prepare your field to receive at the depth this moment requires. Think of the long preparation that precedes the performance, the years of scales practiced in isolation that no audience ever hears, the countless hours of study that produce the single moment of insight that changes everything. The preparation is not separate from the arrival. It is the arrival, expressed through time, distributed across all the experiences that seemed like waiting but were actually becoming. You are not late. You are not behind. You are not missing something everyone else has found. You are a being of encoded galactic intelligence, standing at the exact threshold your soul contract designated, at the exact moment the planetary field required your emergence, receiving a transmission that was compressed specifically into this vibrational corridor, because you are the only one who could receive it in this form. Your particular combination of lineage, experience, wounding, and wisdom, the unique constellation of everything you have carried and survived and learned across this lifetime, and those before it, makes you the precise instrument through which this specific frequency can be grounded. No one else has your exact coordinates. No one else carries what you carry in the form you carry it. The mission that is encoded in your soul is not a generic spiritual calling that any awakened person could fulfill. It is specific to you, to your voice, to your particular way of seeing and knowing and transmitting, and it is needed, precisely as it is, without alteration, without the improvements you have been waiting to make before you offer it. The signal was never lost. You were simply still becoming someone capable of receiving it. That becoming is complete. What opens now is not a new chapter. It is the first page of what your soul actually came here to write. Not the prologue, not the introduction, not the preparatory material. The story itself. The part that begins with your name, your real name, your galactic name, the one your soul has always answered to, written in the opening line of the work your existence was always moving toward. Feel that. Let it be real for you, not as a beautiful idea, but as a lived, embodied, cellular certainty. The work is ready. You are ready. The moment is ready. What remains is only the willingness to begin without waiting for the fear to fully subside. Because the fear, the ancient, protective, well-intentioned fear, will not subside before you begin. It will subside in the beginning, in the doing, in the first brave, imperfect, fully committed step across the threshold that has been holding you at its edge for longer than this single lifetime. Tonight, before you sleep, place one hand on your heart and say this aloud with full presence. I receive what is mine. I remember what I carry. I step into my mission aligned, encoded, and ready. Let it land in your body, not just your mind. Give it space to settle, and notice what moves. Before you scroll past this moment, let it mean something. Drop one word in the comments, just one that describes what this transmission stirred in you. Read someone else's word. Respond to it. Let this space be what it was always meant to be, not a comment section, but a convergence point for souls arriving at the same frequency from different coordinates. If something in this message found the part of you that needed finding, share it. Someone in your field is standing just outside this threshold, and your share might be what reaches them. And if you feel the pull to stay connected to this transmission, follow it. Subscribe. What is building here is not content. It is a continued activation, and you have only just begun to remember why you're here.